Get out of my house, now, before I call the police. Marcus Thompson's voice sliced through the darkness like a knife. His hands trembled with rage. His eyes burned with a fury he hadn't felt since the day he buried his wife. In the doorway of his son's bedroom stood a black woman, still cradling his 2-year-old boy against her chest. She was the maid. Just the maid. And she had crossed a line he would never forgive. Destiny Williams opened her mouth to speak, but only tears came. She had no idea that this moment would change everything. Not just for her. Not just for this broken billionaire. But for a little boy who had finally stopped crying for the first time in months. Before we continue this incredible story, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel and stay with me until the very end. Leave a comment telling me which city you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel, and your support means everything. Now let me take you back to where it all began. 3 weeks before that terrible night, Destiny Williams pressed the phone harder against her ear. "Ma'am, I'm begging you. My mother needs this medication. She could die without it." The pharmacy clerk's voice was flat. Cold. "I'm sorry, Ms. Williams. Your account is $312 past due. We can't release any prescriptions until the balance is paid. Can I pay half now? Can I set up a payment plan? Can I do anything? You'll need to speak with our billing department. They open Monday at 9. Today is Friday. My mother's insulin runs out tomorrow. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do." The line went dead. Destiny stared at her phone. Her hands were shaking. She wanted to scream. She wanted to throw something. She wanted to cry until she had nothing left. Instead, she walked to the kitchen table and sat down across from the small pile of crumpled bills she had counted 4 times already. $47. That was everything. Every penny she had scraped together from 3 different jobs. Every coin she had found between couch cushions and in old jacket pockets. $47 to save her mother's life. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. Baby girl Destiny looked up. Her mother stood in the doorway, gripping her walker with hands that had grown thin and fragile over the past year. Ruth Williams was 68 years old, but she looked 80. Diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure had stolen her strength piece by piece. "Mama, you should be resting." Ruth shuffled to the table and lowered herself into the chair across from her daughter. Her breathing was labored. Each step cost her something she couldn't afford to lose. "I heard you on the phone." The pharmacy again. Destiny couldn't lie. Not to those eyes that had seen through her since childhood. "They won't give us your insulin until we pay what we owe." "How much?" $312. Ruth closed her eyes. "Lord Jesus, I'll figure it out, Mama. I always figure it out. You work yourself to death for me, baby. 3 jobs, no sleep, no life of your own. This ain't right." Destiny reached across the table and took her mother's hand. It felt like paper, like something that might tear if she held too tight. "You raised 4 kids by yourself after Daddy died. You worked double shifts until your feet bled. You gave us everything and kept nothing for yourself. Now it's my turn." Ruth's eyes glistened. "I never wanted this for you. You wanted me to be strong. And I am. Because of you." A coughing fit seized Ruth without warning. Deep rattling coughs that shook her entire body. She doubled over, gasping, unable to catch her breath. Destiny jumped up and grabbed a glass of water. She held it to her mother's lips with one hand and rubbed her back with the other. "Easy, Mama, easy." Small sips. The coughing went on for nearly a minute. When it finally stopped, Ruth's face was gray. Her lips had a bluish tinge that made Destiny's stomach drop. "Mama, we need to get you to a doctor." "No doctors." Ruth's voice was barely a whisper. "Can't afford doctors." "Mama, please." Ruth looked up at her daughter. Her eyes were clear despite the exhaustion. "Promise me something, baby. Anything. If something happens to me, you let me go? You hear me? You don't destroy your life trying to save mine. You let me go and you live. You find happiness. You have babies of your own someday. Promise me." Destiny's throat closed up. "Don't talk like that. Promise me. Nothing's going to happen to you. I won't let it." Ruth smiled sadly. "You can't control everything, baby girl. Some things are in God's hands." That night, Destiny lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Through the thin walls, she could hear her mother's breathing, shallow, uneven, the sound of a body fighting to stay alive. She thought about her father, James Williams, a good man who worked at the textile factory for 23 years. He died when a machine malfunctioned. Destiny was 12. She remembered the way her mother had collapsed when the foreman came to the door. Remembered the funeral where her mother didn't cry because she said she had to be strong for the children. Remembered watching her mother work 2 jobs, then 3, just to keep food on the table. Now it was Destiny's turn to be strong, and she was failing. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She almost didn't look. She was so tired of bad news, tired of rejection letters and past due notices and automated messages from creditors. But something made her reach for it. An email from the employment agency she had registered with 6 months ago. She had given up on hearing from them. "Dear Ms. Williams, we have a position that matches your qualifications. Live-out housekeeper for a private residence in the Hamptons. Compensation $800 per week plus benefits. Interview scheduled for tomorrow Saturday at 10 a.m. Please confirm your attendance immediately." Destiny read it again, and again, and again. $800 a week. That was more than she made at all 3 of her jobs combined. That was enough to pay off the pharmacy. Enough for her mother's medication. Enough to finally breathe. Her fingers trembled as she typed her response. "I'll be there." She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, Destiny took 3 buses and a train to reach the Hamptons. The journey took 2 hours, but she arrived 30 minutes early. She couldn't afford to be late. Not for this. The iron gates of the Thompson estate swung open automatically when she pressed the intercom button. As she walked up the long driveway, her heart pounded harder with each step. She had cleaned houses before. She had worked for wealthy families who owned nice things and drove fancy cars. But nothing had prepared her for this. The mansion rose up before her like something from a movie. Stone walls, glass windows that caught the morning sun, perfectly trimmed hedges and flower beds that probably cost more to maintain than her annual salary. For a moment, she wanted to turn around. What was she doing here? She was just a girl from Harlem who scrubbed toilets for a living. She didn't belong in a place like this. But then she thought about her mother, about the insulin, about the $47 on the kitchen table. She rang the doorbell. A woman answered almost immediately. White, middle-aged. Silver hair pulled back so tight it stretched the skin of her forehead. Her eyes swept over Destiny like she was inspecting a piece of merchandise. "You're the candidate from the agency. Yes, ma'am? Destiny Williams. I'm Mrs. Patterson, head of household staff. Come in." Destiny stepped inside. "Wipe your feet first." Destiny stepped back, wiped her feet on the mat, then entered again. Mrs. Patterson was already walking away. Destiny hurried to catch up. The foyer was larger than Destiny's entire apartment. Marble floors so polished she could see her reflection, a chandelier that sparkled like frozen rain, paintings on the walls that looked old and important and impossibly expensive. "The position is straightforward." Mrs. Patterson spoke without looking back. "Cleaning, laundry, dishes, light kitchen work. You arrive at 6:45 a.m. You leave when your work is done, which is typically 7 p.m., sometimes later. Yes, ma'am. You do not speak to Mr. Thompson unless he addresses you first. I do not touch anything that is not directly related to your duties. You do not answer the telephone. You do not open the mail. You do not enter any room that is locked." "I understand." Mrs. Patterson stopped walking and turned to face her. "Most importantly, you do not enter the East Wing under any circumstances. That is where the child's quarters are. Mr. Thompson's son. He has his own staff. Nannies, night nurses, caregivers. Your job is the rest of the house. The East Wing does not exist for you. Is that clear? Perfectly clear, ma'am." Mrs. Patterson studied her for a long moment. "I'll be honest with you, Ms. Williams. This position has a high turnover rate. The last 4 housekeepers lasted less than a month each. Mr. Thompson is a difficult man. He expects perfection. He tolerates nothing less. One mistake, one excuse, one moment of carelessness, and you'll be gone before you can blink." "I understand." "Do you?" "Because I've heard those words before. Every woman who has stood where you're standing has said she understood, and every one of them failed." Destiny met her eyes. She didn't flinch, didn't look away. "Ma'am, I've been taking care of my sick mother for 10 years. I've worked 3 jobs at once while taking night classes. I've gone without food so she could have her medication. I've never called in sick, not once. Not even when I had a 103-degree fever. I don't make excuses. I don't fail. And I won't fail here." Something shifted in Mrs. Patterson's expression. The hardness didn't disappear, but something else crept in around the edges. Surprise. Maybe even a hint of respect. "The pay is $800 per week. Cash if you prefer. Benefits after 90 days. Room and board available if you want to live on the premises." "I'll need to live out, ma'am. My mother needs me home at night." "Very well, you start Monday. 6:45 sharp. Don't be late. I won't. We'll see." Mrs. Patterson turned and walked away. Destiny stood alone in the massive foyer, her heart racing, her hands trembling. She had done it. She had actually done it. $800 a week. She could save her mother. She could pay off the debts. She could finally stop drowning. She wanted to cry. She wanted to laugh. She wanted to fall to her knees and thank God for this miracle. Instead, she straightened her shoulders and walked back out into the sunshine. She had work to do. The first 3 days were exactly what Mrs. Patterson had promised. Hard, exhausting, relentless. Destiny arrived each morning before dawn, taking buses and trains while the city was still dark. She cleaned floors that already gleamed. She polished silver that already shone. She washed windows that didn't have a single spot. She never complained, never slowed down, never gave anyone a reason to criticize her work. But she also never saw the master of the house. Marcus Thompson was a ghost, a name spoken in whispers, a presence felt but never seen. His office door was always closed. His meals were taken alone. The few times Destiny glimpsed him from a distance, he was just a tall figure in an expensive suit moving through the house like he was the only person in it. On the third day, Rosa Martinez, the cook, found Destiny scrubbing the kitchen floor during her lunch break. "Mija, you need to eat something. You're going to collapse. I'm fine. I want to finish this section before Rosa grabbed the mop from her hands. Sit, eat, now." Destiny hesitated, then obeyed. She was too tired to argue. Rosa set a plate of rice and beans in front of her. Real food. Home-cooked food. The first warm meal Destiny had eaten in days. "Thank you," Destiny said quietly. Rosa sat across from her. She was a heavy woman in her 50s with kind eyes and rough hands. She had worked for the Thompsons for 8 years. "You're different from the others," Rosa said. "What do you mean, the other housekeepers?" "They came in thinking this job would be easy. Big house, rich man, good pay. They thought they had it made." Rosa shook her head. "They didn't last a month." "Why not?" "Because this house is not what it seems." Destiny stopped eating. "What do you mean?" Rosa glanced toward the door, then lowered her voice. "Mr. Thompson wasn't always like this. Cold, distant, mean. He used to be different. He used to smile. He used to play music in the mornings and dance with his wife in the kitchen. What happened, Mrs. Thompson, happened. Or rather, her death happened." Rosa crossed herself. "Cancer. Ovarian cancer." She was diagnosed when she was 7 months pregnant with Noah. The doctor said she had to choose. Treatment that might save her life but would kill the baby. Or no treatment, which meant she could carry the baby to term, but the cancer would spread. Destiny's chest tightened. What did she choose? What do you think? She chose her son. She gave birth to Noah, and then she died 6 months later. Held that baby in her arm every single day until she couldn't hold him anymore. Oh my God, Mr. Thompson was there at the end. Held her hand while she took her last breath. Rosa's eyes were wet. Something broke in him that day. Something that never healed. He buried himself in his work, started traveling all the time, hired people to take care of Noah because he couldn't stand to look at him. Why not Rosa met her eyes? Because Noah looks exactly like her. Same curly hair, same brown eyes, same smile. Every time Mr. Thompson sees his son, he sees the woman he lost. Destiny pushed her plate away. Her appetite was gone. That poor man. And that poor little boy. The boy is the one you should worry about. Rosa's voice dropped even lower. He's only 2 years old, but he's already broken. Doesn't talk, doesn't smile, just wanders the house like a little ghost. The nannies don't care about him. They just put in their hours and collect their checks. Nobody loves that child. Nobody sees him. Destiny thought about her own childhood, about her father's death, about the years of struggle and sacrifice. At least she had her mother. At least someone had loved her. This little boy had no one. Later that afternoon, Destiny was mopping the hallway outside the kitchen when she heard small footsteps behind her. She turned. A child stood in the doorway. He was tiny, barely more than a baby, curly brown hair that fell into his eyes, big brown eyes that stared at her without blinking. He wore pajamas with little rockets on them and clutched a teddy bear so worn and faded it looked like it might fall apart at any moment. He didn't speak. He just watched her. Destiny's heart cracked right down the middle. "Hi there, sweetheart," she said softly. "Nothing, just those big, sad eyes." Destiny set down her mop. She crouched slowly, bringing herself to his level. "My name is Destiny. What's your name?" Still nothing. But he didn't run away. She noticed his eyes drift toward the counter where Rosa had left a plate of cookies. "You hungry baby," the tiniest nod. So small she almost missed it. Destiny knew she shouldn't do this. She knew the rules. The East Wing doesn't exist for you. She wasn't supposed to interact with the child, wasn't supposed to even acknowledge him. But those eyes. She stood, took a cookie from the plate, and held it out to him. The boy approached slowly, carefully, like he expected her to snatch it away. He took the cookie with both hands and bit into it, never taking his eyes off her face. When he finished, he looked up at her. "Thank you," he whispered. His voice was so small, so uncertain, like he wasn't used to being heard. Destiny felt tears prick her eyes. "You're welcome, sweetheart. You're very welcome." A door slammed somewhere in the house. The boy flinched violently. Fear flooded his eyes. Before Destiny could say another word, he turned and ran, disappearing into the shadows of the east wing. She stood there for a long moment, staring after him. That poor baby, she thought. That poor lost, lonely baby. She didn't know it yet, but that moment had changed everything. Over the next few days, Destiny noticed Noah everywhere. He would appear in doorways when she was cleaning. He would peek around corners when she was doing laundry. He would stand silently in the shadows, watching her with those enormous eyes. He never spoke, never approached her again. But he was always there, watching. Destiny began leaving small things for him. A cookie on a napkin near the kitchen door. A flower she picked from the garden. A little paper crane she folded during her lunch break. Each time the gifts disappeared. Each time Noah watched her from the shadows. She knew she was playing with fire. She knew that if anyone found out, she would be fired instantly. But she couldn't help herself. Because she saw something in that boy that no one else seemed to see. A soul crying out for connection. A heart desperate for love. 1 week into her employment, Destiny was folding laundry in the service room when she heard voices in the hallway. The nannies. 2 of them. Young women in crisp uniforms, who spent more time on their phones than with the child they were paid to care for. "I can't wait for this shift to be over. I have a date tonight. Lucky you. I'm stuck with the demon child until midnight." Destiny's hands froze. "I swear that kid is broken. Never talks. Never smiles. Just stares at you like a creepy little doll." The other nanny laughed. "Maybe he's possessed. We should call an exorcist." Both of them burst into giggles. Destiny's blood boiled. She wanted to storm into that hallway and tell them exactly what she thought of them. Tell them that the child wasn't broken or possessed. He was grieving. He was alone. He was desperate for someone to love him. But she couldn't. She was just the maid. Her opinions didn't matter. She went back to folding laundry, her jaw clenched so tight it hurt. That night, she couldn't sleep. She lay in her bed in Harlem, listening to her mother's breathing through the thin walls, thinking about Noah. His sad eyes, his tiny voice, his flinch when the door slammed. Who was taking care of him at night? Who came when he had nightmares? Who held him when he was scared? The answer she suspected was no one. The second week brought a change. Destiny was working late, finishing up some extra cleaning because one of the other staff had called in sick. The house was quiet. The nannies had gone home hours ago. Even Rosa had left. She was mopping the second floor hallway when she heard it. Crying. Not just crying. Screaming. The terrible, desperate sound of a child lost in the grip of a nightmare. Destiny froze. The sound was coming from the east wing. From Noah's room. She looked around. The hallway was empty. No one was coming. The screaming got worse. "Grace?" a small voice wailed. "Grace? Grace." Destiny didn't know anyone named Grace, but the terror in that voice was unmistakable. She waited. 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. No one came. The child kept screaming. Everything in Destiny's training told her to walk away, to follow the rules, to protect her job, but everything in her heart told her something else. She walked toward the east wing. The door to Noah's room was closed. She pushed it open. Noah was sitting up in his bed, tangled in his blankets, his face red and wet with tears. His small body shook with sobs. His eyes were wild with terror. The teddy bear had fallen to the floor. Hey, it's okay!" Destiny rushed to him. "It's okay, baby. I'm here." Noah looked at her. For a moment, he seemed not to recognize her. Then something in his eyes changed. "Dee," he whimpered. "Yeah, sweetheart. It's me. I'm right here." She sat on the edge of his bed and opened her arms. Noah threw himself at her. He wrapped his arms around her neck and held on like she was the only solid thing in a collapsing world. Destiny held him close. She rocked him gently the way her mother used to rock her when she was small. She hummed an old gospel song her grandmother had taught her, Amazing Grace. The melody rose up from somewhere deep inside her, carrying all the comfort and love she had to give. Scared, Noah whispered against her shoulder, "I know, baby, but the bad dream is gone now. I chased it away. You did, I did. That's what I do. I chase away bad dreams." His grip loosened just a little. "Will you stay?" Destiny knew she should say no, knew she should tuck him in and leave, knew she was risking everything. But looking into those eyes, she couldn't refuse. "I'll stay until you fall asleep. Okay? Okay?" She continued rocking, continued humming. Noah's breathing slowed. His body relaxed. His eyes fluttered closed. 20 minutes later, he was asleep. Destiny laid him back down carefully. She tucked the blankets around him. She picked up the teddy bear and placed it in his arms. And then she did something she hadn't planned. She bent down and kissed his forehead. "Good night, sweet boy," she whispered. "I'll see you tomorrow." She slipped out of the room and closed the door behind her. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking. She had just broken every rule in the house. If anyone found out, she would lose everything. But as she walked back through the dark hallway, she knew she would do it again. Tomorrow night, and the night after that, and every night after that. Because that little boy needed someone. And if no one else would be that someone, Destiny would. The pattern began. Every night after the nannies left, Destiny would linger. She would find reasons to stay late. Extra cleaning, organizing, anything to be there when the house grew quiet. And every night Noah would cry. Sometimes the nightmares came early, sometimes late, but they always came. And Destiny was always there. She learned his rhythms, the way his breathing changed before a nightmare took hold, the small sounds he made as fear crept into his dreams. She learned to slip into his room at just the right moment to catch him, before the terror became too much to be there when he opened his eyes. She read him stories, books she borrowed from the library and smuggled into the house in her bag. She taught him songs, simple nursery rhymes that made him giggle. She told him about her mother, about Harlem, about the bakery on the corner that made the best chocolate chip cookies in the whole world. "I want to go there," Noah said one night. "Someday, baby, someday I'll take you. Promise, I promise." He smiled, actually smiled, a real smile that lit up his whole face. It was the most beautiful thing Destiny had ever seen. "Grace," he started calling her. He couldn't pronounce Destiny. It came out as something else entirely. "I'm not Grace, baby. I'm Destiny." He shook his head stubbornly. "Grace." And somehow it stuck. In the quiet of his room in the darkness where no one else could hear, she became Grace. His Grace. The one who came when he called. The one who chased away the monsters. The one who loved him when no one else did. 2 weeks and the other staff began to notice. Rosa pulled Destiny aside in the kitchen. "Mija, we need to talk." Destiny's stomach dropped. "About what?" "About the way that boy looks at you. I don't know what you mean. Don't lie to me." Rosa's eyes were kind but worried. "I see how his eyes follow you. I see how he lights up when you walk into a room. Something is happening and you need to be careful. I'm not doing anything wrong. In this house, it doesn't matter what's wrong and what's right. It only matters what Mr. Thompson thinks. And if he thinks you've crossed a line, you're gone. Just like that." Destiny looked down at her hands. "He's so alone, Rosa, so scared. The nannies don't care about him. His father won't look at him. He's just a baby and nobody loves him." Rosa sighed. "You have a good heart, Mija. But a good heart can get you in trouble. Be careful." "Please?" "I will," but she wasn't careful enough. That same week, Destiny was leaving Noah's room when she heard footsteps in the hallway. She pressed herself against the wall, heart pounding. Mrs. Patterson walked past. Her shoes clicked on the marble floor. She was so close, Destiny could have reached out and touched her. If she turns her head, if she looks this way, if she sees me. Mrs. Patterson kept walking. Her footsteps faded into the distance. Destiny didn't breathe until she heard a door close somewhere far away. That was too close. Way too close. She should stop. She knew she should stop, but the next night, when Noah cried, she went to him anyway. On Friday of the second week, Mr. Thompson called a staff meeting. Everyone gathered in the main sitting room. Rosa, the gardener, the 2 nannies, the driver, Mrs. Patterson, Destiny. They stood in a line waiting in silence. And then he walked in. Marcus Thompson. Destiny had seen him from a distance before, but never this close. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with broad shoulders and dark hair streaked with gray at the temples. His suit probably cost more than everything Destiny owned combined. But it was his eyes that stopped her. Cold. Empty. Dead. The eyes of a man who had lost everything and decided never to feel anything again. "One of you," he said quietly, "has been entering my son's room without authorization." The room went silent. Destiny's heart hammered so hard she thought it might burst through her chest. She stared at the floor, trying to keep her face neutral. "My security system has recorded someone entering and exiting the East Wing multiple times over the past 2 weeks. The footage is poor quality. I cannot identify who it is." He paused. His eyes swept over each of them. "But I am giving you one warning. One. If I discover who has been violating my trust, they will be terminated immediately. And I will make certain they never work in this area again." Destiny felt dizzy. She couldn't breathe. "If anyone has information," Marcus continued, "they should come to me directly. There will be no punishment for reporting what you know." Silence. "Very well. You may return to your duties." He turned and walked out. No one moved for several seconds. Then slowly, they dispersed. Destiny made it to the kitchen before her legs gave out. She grabbed the counter to keep from falling. Rosa appeared beside her. "Mija," Rosa's voice was barely a whisper. "Whatever you've been doing, it ends now. Tonight. You understand?" Destiny nodded. She couldn't speak. "He knows someone has been going in there. He just doesn't know who. If you stop now, you might be safe. I understand." That night, Destiny went home. She didn't stay late. She didn't go to Noah's room. She followed the rules. At 2 in the morning, her phone buzzed. A text from Rosa. "The boy has been screaming for 3 hours. Nobody can calm him. He keeps calling for someone named Grace." Destiny stared at the message. She thought about Noah. His tears, his terror, his tiny voice calling for her, sinner. She thought about her mother, about the medication she could finally afford, about losing everything. She turned off her phone. She didn't sleep. The next day at work, Rosa told her what happened. The nannies finally sedated him. Gave him something to make him sleep. He cried so hard he made himself sick first. Destiny felt like she had been stabbed. "Is he okay? He's quiet now, but okay," Rosa shook her head. "That child hasn't been okay since the day his mother died." Destiny lasted one more night. On Sunday, she stayed late to finish some extra work. The house was empty. The staff had gone home. At midnight, Noah started crying. Destiny stood in the hallway, listening to his screams echo through the empty house. She thought about the rules. She thought about Mr. Thompson's warning. She thought about everything she could lose. And then she thought about a 2-year-old boy alone in the dark, crying for someone who wasn't coming. She walked to his room. Noah was tangled in his sheets, sobbing so hard he could barely breathe. "I'm here, baby." Destiny gathered him in her arms. "I'm here. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner." Grace. He clung to her like she was his only hope. Grace came back. "I came back. I'll always come back. Promise, I promise." She held him until he fell asleep. She stayed until she was sure where the nightmares were gone. Then she crept out of his room and back to the safety of her side of the house. She thought she had been careful. She thought no one had seen. She didn't know that Marcus Thompson had installed new cameras. Higher resolution, better angles. She didn't know that he was watching everything. 5 days later on Friday night, Destiny was in Noah's room again. The nannies had left early, some kind of emergency. The house was empty except for her and the sleeping child. Noah had woken from a nightmare, the worst one yet. He was screaming so loud that Destiny had run to him without thinking about cameras or rules or consequences. She held him in her arms, rocking him, singing softly. "Grace," he whimpered. "Monsters. No monsters, baby. I chased them all away. You promise, I promise, you're safe. I've got you." Slowly his sobs quieted. His breathing evened out. His small body relaxed against her chest. Destiny kept rocking, kept singing, kept pouring out love. She didn't hear the door open. She didn't know anyone was there until she heard the voice. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Destiny's head snapped up. Marcus Thompson stood in the doorway. His face was twisted with rage. His hands were clenched into fists. His eyes burned with a fury that made Destiny's blood turn to ice. "Mr. Thompson!" Her voice shook. "He was having a nightmare. I heard him crying and no one else was here, so I just put him down. Sir, please let me explain. I said put him down. Now." Destiny carefully gently laid Noah back on his bed. The boy immediately reached for her, his small hands grasping at air. "Grace," he cried. "Grace, no." Marcus flinched like he had been struck. He stared at his son, then at Destiny, then back at his son. "Who is Grace?" he demanded. "That's what he calls me. He can't pronounce my name, so he calls me, I don't care what he calls you." Marcus stepped closer. His voice dropped to something low and dangerous. "You're the maid. You clean my floors. You wash my dishes. You have no business being in this room. You have no business touching my son. Sir, I wasn't trying to do anything wrong. He was alone and scared and crying and nobody was coming." Because nobody was supposed to come, Marcus's voice rose. "I give orders for a reason. I have rules for a reason. You don't know my son. You don't know what he needs. You don't know anything about this family. I know he's lonely. The words came out before Destiny could stop them. "I know he's scared. I know he cries every single night and nobody comes. I know his nannies don't care about him. I know his father won't even look at him." Marcus went very still. "What did you say?" Destiny knew she should stop, knew she had already gone too far. But she couldn't stop. Not now. He's 2 years old, Mr. Thompson. He lost his mother. He needs someone to love him. He needs someone to hold him when he's scared. He needs his father. Don't you dare tell me what my son needs. Somebody has to. The words hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Marcus's face was white with rage. "Get out! Mr. Thompson, get out of my house. Now. You're fired. If you're not gone in 5 minutes, I'm calling the police. Please." Destiny's eyes filled with tears. "Please, just let me explain. Let me say goodbye to him. You've already said enough." He grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the door. "Grace," Noah screamed. "Grace, Grace, don't go, Grace." Destiny tried to turn back. Tried to reach for him one last time. Marcus pushed her into the hallway. 5 minutes. Then I call the police." He slammed the door in her face. Inside the room, Noah's screams continued. "Grace, Grace, Grace." Destiny stood in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to break down the door, wanted to push past Marcus and hold Noah one more time, wanted to tell him she was sorry that she loved him, that she would never forget him. But she couldn't. She walked down the hallway on legs that didn't feel like her own, down the stairs, past the kitchen, past the laundry room, past all the places where she had seen Noah watching her, waiting for her, hoping for her. She grabbed her coat from the closet. She didn't say goodbye to anyone. She walked out the front door and into the cold night. The bus wouldn't come for hours. Destiny stood on the steps of the mansion, shivering, crying, breaking apart. "Please," she whispered into the darkness. "Please, Mr. Thompson, I didn't do anything wrong." But the door stayed closed. And inside the house, Noah Thompson screamed for the woman who loved him. "Grace, Grace, Grace." His voice echoed through the empty halls. But Grace was gone. And she wasn't coming back. The bus was nearly empty at 4 in the morning. Just Destiny and an old man sleeping in the back, his head pressed against the foggy window. Destiny sat alone, staring at her reflection in the glass. Her eyes were swollen. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She kept hearing Noah's voice in her head over and over, like a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. Grace, Grace, Grace. She had abandoned him. She had walked away while he screamed for her. She had left him alone in that big cold house with a father who couldn't stand to look at him and nannies who didn't care if he lived or died. What kind of person does that? The bus lurched to a stop. An elderly woman climbed on her movements, slow and painful. She reminded Destiny of her mother. Her mother. Destiny pressed her hand to her mouth to keep from sobbing out loud. How was she going to tell her? How was she going to explain that she had lost the job that was keeping them alive, that the medication money was gone, that everything was falling apart again? The bus rolled on through the dark city. Streetlights flickered past like dying stars. Destiny closed her eyes and let the tears fall. She had no idea that back at the Thompson estate, Noah was still awake, still crying, still calling her name, and Marcus Thompson was standing outside his son's door, listening to every scream, feeling something he hadn't felt in a very long time. Doubt. 3 days passed. 3 days of hell. Noah stopped eating on the first day. He pushed away his breakfast. He threw his lunch on the floor. He clamped his mouth shut when the nannies tried to force a spoon between his lips. He stopped sleeping on the second day. Every time he closed his eyes, the nightmares came, and when he woke up, screaming, reaching for arms that weren't there, calling for a voice that didn't answer, he refused to close his eyes again. By the third day, he had stopped speaking entirely. Marcus stood in the doorway of his son's room, watching the boy sit motionless on his bed. Noah's eyes were open but empty. His skin was pale. His lips were cracked from dehydration. He looked like a ghost. "Eat something," Marcus said. "Please, Noah. Just one bite." Nothing. Marcus walked closer. He knelt beside the bed, bringing himself to his son's level. It was the closest he had been to Noah in months. "Son, look at me." Noah's eyes shifted. For a moment, something flickered in them. Recognition. Hope. Grace Marcus felt the word like a knife in his chest. "No, it's Daddy. It's me." The hope died. Noah turned away. "Want Grace." "She's not coming back, Noah." The boy's face crumpled. Tears spilled down his cheeks, but he didn't make a sound. He had screamed himself hoarse over the past 3 days. He had nothing left. Marcus reached out to touch his son's shoulder. Noah flinched away from him. "No," the boy whispered. "Not you. Want Grace?" Marcus pulled his hand back like he had been burned. He stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. His heart felt like it was being crushed in a vice. He walked out of the room and closed the door behind him. In the hallway, he leaned against the wall and pressed his fists against his eyes. What had he done? That night, Marcus sat alone in his office, a glass of whiskey untouched beside him. He couldn't stop thinking about his son's face, the emptiness in his eyes, the way he had flinched away from his own father's touch. Want Grace. Who was this woman? What had she done to his son? How had a maid, a stranger, become more important to Noah than his own father? Or Marcus thought about the night he had fired her, the way she had looked at him, the tears streaming down her face, the words she had thrown at him like accusations. He's lonely. He's scared. He cries every single night and nobody comes. His nannies don't care about him. His father won't even look at him. Marcus picked up his whiskey and threw it against the wall. The glass shattered. Amber liquid dripped down the wallpaper. He sat there in the silence, breathing hard, his hands shaking. She was wrong. She had to be wrong. But what if she wasn't? He turned to his computer, his security system. 17 cameras throughout the house recording everything 24 hours a day. He had watched the footage from the night he fired her. He had seen her holding his son, rocking him, singing to him. But he hadn't watched anything else. His fingers moved across the keyboard. He pulled up the archives. 2 weeks of recordings, hundreds of hours of footage. He started watching. The first video was from 2 weeks ago, late at night, Noah's room. The maid Destiny was sitting on the edge of Noah's bed. The boy was in her lap, crying. She was rocking him gently, humming something soft and sweet. "You're safe, baby." Her voice came through the speakers, tinny but clear. "I'm right here. The monsters can't get you when I'm here." Marcus leaned closer. Noah's sobs were slowing. His small body was relaxing. He was falling asleep in her arms. Marcus clicked on another video. The kitchen. Middle of the day. Destiny was on her hands and knees, scrubbing the floor. Noah was sitting in the corner watching her. "What are you doing?" Noah asked. "Cleaning baby, making everything nice and shiny. Can I help?" Destiny smiled. "Sure you can. Come here." She handed him a small rag. She showed him how to wipe the cabinet doors. Noah scrubbed with all his might, his face serious with concentration. "Good job," Destiny said. "You're the best helper I ever had." Noah beamed. Really, I couldn't do it without you." Marcus's throat tightened. He clicked on another video. The garden. Destiny was picking flowers. Noah was following her, clutching his teddy bear. "These are for you," Destiny said, handing him a small yellow flower. "For me, for you, because you're special." Noah stared at the flower like it was the most precious thing in the world. Nobody ever gave me a flower before. Well, now someone has. And you know what? I'm going to give you one every single day. Promise? Promise. Marcus clicked on another video, and another, and another. Destiny reading Noah a story. Destiny teaching him to count. Destiny wiping his tears after he fell and scraped his knee. Destiny making him laugh with silly faces. Destiny holding him when he cried. Destiny loving him. Loving him. Marcus sat back in his chair. Hours had passed. The sun was coming up. His eyes were burning. But he couldn't stop watching. Because in every single video, he saw the same thing. A woman who treated his son like he was the most important person in the world. A woman who gave him attention and affection and time. A woman who saw him when no one else did. And in every single video, he saw something else too. His son smiling. His son laughing. His son being happy. Things Marcus hadn't seen since before Victoria died. He thought about the night he fired Destiny. The accusations he had hurled at her. The way he had grabbed her arm and pushed her out of his son's room. He thought about his own words. "You have no business being in this room. You have no business touching my son." But she had been there when Marcus wasn't. She had touched his son when Marcus couldn't. She had loved his son when Marcus didn't know how anymore. Marcus put his head in his hands. He had made a terrible mistake, and he had no idea how to fix it. The next morning, Marcus called Mrs. Patterson into his office. "I need to find her," he said. "Find who, sir?" "The maid. Destiny Williams, the one I fired." Mrs. Patterson's eyebrows rose. "May I ask why, sir? Because I was wrong about her, and I need to make it right." Mrs. Patterson was quiet for a moment. "She's a good woman, sir. I didn't agree with your decision to let her go." "Why didn't you say something you didn't ask?" Marcus almost laughed. The first time he had felt anything close to humor in years. "Find her for me, please. Get me her phone number, her address, whatever you have." Mrs. Patterson nodded. "Right away, sir." An hour later, Marcus was holding a piece of paper with a phone number on it. He stared at it for a long time. What was he supposed to say? How could he possibly apologize for what he had done? He picked up the phone. He dialed the number. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Hello? Hello, her voice. Tired, defeated, broken. Ms. Williams, this is Marcus Thompson. Silence, long and heavy. I need to speak with you, Marcus said. It's about Noah. More silence. I watched the security footage. All of it. I saw everything you did for my son over those 2 weeks. And I was wrong. I was wrong about you. Destiny's voice came back quiet and wary. What do you want, Mr. Thompson? I want you to come back. Not as the maid. As Noah's caregiver. As someone who actually cares about him. Why should I trust you? The question hit him like a punch. You shouldn't. I gave you no reason to trust me. I accused you of something terrible. I threw you out in the middle of the night. I didn't let you say goodbye to a child who loved you. His voice cracked. But Noah needs you. He's not eating. He's not sleeping. He won't speak to anyone. He just calls for you over and over, and there's nothing I can do. Destiny was crying. He could hear it through the phone. Mr. Thompson, I have a sick mother. I need this job. But I also need to know that I won't be treated like a criminal for loving a child. You won't. I swear to you. Whatever you need, whatever you want, it's yours. Just please, please help my son. A long pause. I'll think about it, Destiny said. That's all I ask. The line went dead. Marcus sat in his office holding the phone, staring at nothing. For the first time in 14 months, he prayed. The next morning, Destiny Williams stood outside the Thompson estate. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was pounding. Every instinct told her to turn around and walk away. But she thought about Noah, his face, his voice, his arms reaching for her. She rang the doorbell. Rosa opened the door. Her eyes went wide. Mija, thank God. She pulled Destiny into a hug. Thank God you're here. How is he bad? Rosa shook her head. Worse than bad. But you're here now. That's what matters. Destiny walked into the house. It felt different now. Smaller. Less intimidating, or maybe she was different. She climbed the stairs to Noah's room. Her legs felt heavy. Each step took more effort than the last. She knocked on the door. Come in. Marcus's voice. Destiny pushed the door open. Marcus was sitting on the floor beside Noah's bed. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Exhausted. His suit was wrinkled. His eyes were red. Noah was lying on the bed staring at the ceiling. He looked even worse than his father. Pale. Thin. Empty. Destiny's heart shattered it. Hey, baby, she said softly. It's me. Noah's head turned slowly. His eyes found her face. For a moment, nothing happened. Then recognition flooded his expression. Grace. Yeah, sweetheart. It's me. I came back. Grace. He sat up and threw himself at her. His arms wrapped around her neck, his face buried in her shoulder. His whole body shook with sobs. You came back, you came back, you came back, I came back. Destiny held him tight, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry I left, baby. I'm so sorry, but I'm here now. I'm not going anywhere. Promise, I promise with all my heart. She rocked him. She hummed. She whispered words of comfort and love. Marcus watched from the corner of the room. Tears were sliding down his face, too. He hadn't cried since Victoria's funeral. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of healing. 2 weeks of change. 2 weeks of something that felt almost like hope. Destiny moved into the guest cottage on the Thompson estate. She was there every morning when Noah woke up. She made him breakfast. She played with him. She read him stories. She held him when the nightmares came. And Noah transformed. He started eating again. He started sleeping through the night. He started talking, laughing, being a child again. But it wasn't just Noah who changed. Marcus started coming home earlier. He started eating dinner at the table instead of in his office. He started asking about Noah's day, listening to the answers being present. One evening, he found Destiny in the kitchen after Noah had gone to bed. Can I talk to you for a minute? Destiny tensed. Of course. Marcus sat down at the table. He looked different lately, less cold, less distant, almost human. I owe you an apology, he said. A real one, not just words on the phone. Destiny sat across from him. That night when I fired you, Marcus continued, I wasn't seeing you. I was seeing every fear I've had since Victoria died. Fear that someone would hurt Noah. Fear that someone would take him from me. Fear that I would lose the only piece of her I have left. I understand. No, you don't. Because instead of protecting my son, I was destroying him. He needed love, and I couldn't give it to him. He needed someone to see him, and I couldn't look at him without seeing her. His voice broke. Victoria, my wife. She died 14 months ago. And when she died, I think part of me died too. The part that knew how to love. The part that knew how to be a father. Destiny reached across the table and took his hand. That part isn't dead, Mr. Thompson. It's just wounded. And wounds can heal. Marcus looked at her hand on his. He didn't pull away. How do you do it? He asked. How do you have so much love to give? Because I know what it's like to not have enough. I grew up poor. My father died when I was 12. My mother worked herself half to death to keep us fed. I know what it feels like to be invisible, to be overlooked, to be dismissed. She squeezed his hand. That's why I couldn't walk past Noah's room when he was crying. Because I saw myself in him. A child who needed someone to see them. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. You're an extraordinary woman, Destiny Williams. I'm just someone who cares. That's what makes you extraordinary. Their eyes met. Something passed between them. Something neither of them was ready to name. Then Marcus cleared his throat and pulled his hand away. It's late. You should get some rest. So should you. He smiled. It was small, tentative, rusty from disuse, but it was real. Good night, Destiny. Good night, Mr. Thompson. Call me Marcus. She smiled back. Good night, Marcus. 1 month after Destiny returned, a black Mercedes pulled up to the Thompson estate. Destiny was in the garden with Noah watching him chase butterflies when she heard the car. She looked up. 2 people emerged. A woman and a man, both older, both expensively dressed, both radiating an energy that made Destiny's skin prickle. The woman had silver hair and cold eyes. The man was tall and silent, walking 2 steps behind her like a shadow. They didn't knock on the door. They walked right in like they owned the place. Destiny picked up Noah and carried him inside. She found Marcus in the foyer facing the 2 strangers. His body was tense. His jaw was tight. Eleanor, Richard. His voice was flat. What are you doing here? The woman. Eleanor smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. We came to see our grandson, of course. We heard he was having some difficulties. He's fine now. Is he? Eleanor's eyes drifted to Destiny, who was standing in the doorway with Noah in her arms. And who is this? This is Destiny, Noah's caregiver. Eleanor's eyebrow arched. Caregiver? I thought you had nannies for that. The nannies didn't work out. Destiny did. Eleanor walked closer. Her eyes swept over Destiny with the same look Mrs. Patterson had given her on her first day, the look that made her feel like furniture being appraised. I see, Eleanor said slowly. And what are your qualifications, Ms. Destiny? I love your grandson, Destiny replied. That's my qualification. Eleanor's smile flickered. Love. How charming. Marcus stepped between them. Why are you really here, Eleanor? Can't a grandmother visit her own grandson? You haven't visited once since Victoria's funeral. Not once in 14 months. So I'll ask again. Why are you here? Eleanor's mask slipped. Her eyes turned hard. We've been hearing things, Marcus. Disturbing things. About Noah's care. About his environment. About certain people you've allowed into your home. What kind of things? The kind of things that concern us, deeply. Richard spoke for the first time. His voice was low and measured. We're not here to cause trouble, Marcus. We're here because we love our grandson and we want what's best for him. What's best for him is right here, Marcus said. With me. With Destiny. Eleanor's lips pressed into a thin line. We'll see about that. She turned and walked out without another word. Richard followed. Marcus stood in the foyer, his fists clenched at his sides. Destiny walked up beside him, still holding Noah. Who are they, Victoria's parents? Eleanor and Richard Bennett. They don't seem happy. They're never happy. They never thought I was good enough for their daughter. Now they don't think I'm good enough for their grandson. What are they going to do? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, but whatever it is, it won't be good. Destiny felt a chill run down her spine. She looked down at Noah, who had fallen asleep in her arms, his small face peaceful and unaware. She held him tighter. Whatever was coming, she would protect him, no matter what. 3 weeks later, the storm arrived. Marcus came home with an envelope in his hand. His face was white. What's wrong? Destiny asked. He didn't answer. He just handed her the envelope. She opened it. Inside was a legal document. Lots of complicated words and formal language, but one phrase jumped out at her. Petition for custody. They're suing me, Marcus said. His voice was hollow. They want to take Noah away. Destiny's blood turned to ice. Can they do that? They can try. They're claiming I'm an unfit parent, that Noah's environment is unstable, that he'd be better off with them. That's insane. You love him. Love isn't enough for a court. They want evidence, stability, structure, and right now they have lawyers digging into every aspect of my life, including me. Marcus met her eyes. Especially you. Destiny felt the floor shifting beneath her feet. She thought about everything she had built over the past few weeks. The trust, the routine, the bond with Noah that had grown stronger every day. And now it could all be taken away. "What do we do?" she asked. Marcus took the envelope back. He folded it carefully and put it in his pocket. "We fight," he said. "Whatever it takes. However long it takes. We fight." But his eyes told a different story. They were filled with fear. And Destiny understood why. Because some battles can't be won, and some storms can't be survived. The custody hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks from the day the papers arrived. 6 weeks to prepare. 6 weeks to gather evidence. 6 weeks to prove that Marcus Thompson was a fit father. 6 weeks felt like a death sentence. Marcus hired the best family law attorney in New York. Her name was Catherine Wells, a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and a reputation for winning impossible cases. She sat across from Marcus in his office 3 days after the papers arrived. "I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Thompson. This isn't going to be easy. I didn't hire you because I wanted easy. I hired you because I wanted to win." Catherine nodded. "Then let me tell you what we're up against. The Bennetts have money, they have connections, and they have a very compelling narrative. What narrative? That you're an absent father who buried himself in work after his wife died. That you hired strangers to raise your son. That Noah has had 4 different nannies in the past year, none of whom lasted more than a few months." Marcus's jaw tightened. "That's not the whole story. It doesn't matter what the whole story is. It matters what story they can sell to a judge. So what do? We build our own narrative." Catherine leaned forward. "We show that you've changed. That you're present, that you're involved. We document everything. Every meal you eat with Noah, every story you read him, every moment you spend together." "And Destiny," Catherine hesitated. "What about her? They're going to use her against you." How? Catherine pulled out a folder. "She's an unmarried black woman with no formal childcare training. She was originally hired as a maid. You fired her, then rehired her 3 days later in a completely different position. To a judge that looks impulsive at best, suspicious at worst. There's nothing suspicious about it. She's the best thing that ever happened to my son." "I believe you. But the Bennetts will spin it differently. They'll say she manipulated her way into your household. They'll say she's after your money. They'll say she's an unfit influence on a grieving child." Marcus slammed his fist on the desk. "That's a lie. Of course it's a lie. But lies win cases all the time if they're told convincingly enough." Destiny was standing outside the office door. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop. She was just bringing Marcus his coffee, but she had heard everything, every word. She set the coffee on the table in the hallway and walked away. That night, she sat in her cottage staring at the wall. "She's an unmarried black woman with no formal childcare training." The words echoed in her head. She had known, of course. Known that people would judge her. Known that being black, being poor, being unmarried would all count against her in ways that had nothing to do with her ability to love a child. But hearing it stated so plainly, so matter-of-factly, hurt more than she expected. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Can we talk?" She didn't answer. 5 minutes later, there was a knock on her cottage door. "Destiny, please. I know you heard." She opened the door. Marcus stood there looking more vulnerable than she had ever seen him. "Can I come in?" She stepped aside. Marcus walked in and sat down heavily on the small couch. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm sorry you had to hear that. Don't apologize for the truth. It's not the truth. It's their version of the truth." "What's the difference?" Marcus looked at her. His eyes were tired. His face was lined with stress. "The difference is that I know who you are. I know what you've done for my son, and I will fight to my last breath to make sure the court knows it too." Destiny sat down across from him. "Maybe I should leave." "What?" "Maybe it would be better for Noah if I wasn't here. Maybe without me, the Bennetts wouldn't have ammunition." "No." Marcus's voice was firm. "Absolutely not. Marcus, think about it. They can't call me a gold digger if I'm not here. They can't say I'm an unfit influence if I'm gone. You'd have a better chance. I don't want a better chance. I want you." The words hung in the air between them. Marcus seemed to realize what he had said. His face flushed. "I mean, Noah needs you. We both need you." Destiny felt her heart skip. "Marcus, I'm not good at this." He ran his hands through his hair. "I'm not good at saying what I feel. Victoria was the one who was good with words. I was always better with spreadsheets and contracts." He looked at her. But I need you to know something. Whatever happens in that courtroom, whatever the Bennetts throw at us, I will never blame you. You came into my son's life and you saved him. You came into my life and you made me remember what it feels like to hope. That's not something I take lightly." Destiny's eyes filled with tears. "I'm scared, Marcus. Me too. What if we lose? We won't. But what if we do?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "Then we'll fight some other way. We'll appeal. We'll keep fighting. Because Noah belongs with me, and you belong with us." He reached out and took her hand. "Stay. Please. Don't let them win by driving you away." Destiny looked at their hands. His were large and warm. Hers were small and trembling. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll stay. Thank you." They sat like that for a long time, neither of them speaking, neither of them letting go. 2 weeks before the hearing, the Bennett's lawyers sent an investigator. His name was Harold Kane, a former police detective. Now he made his living digging up dirt for people who could afford to pay for it. He showed up at Destiny's mother's apartment in Harlem without warning. Ruth Williams answered the door. "Can I help you, Mrs. Williams? My name is Harold Kane. I'm conducting a background investigation on your daughter, Destiny Williams. Do you have a few minutes to talk?" Ruth's eyes narrowed. "Background investigation for what? She's involved in a custody case. I just need to ask a few questions." Ruth looked at this man, this stranger, in a cheap suit, standing at her door asking questions about her baby girl. "I don't have anything to say to you." She started to close the door. Kane put his foot in the gap. "Mrs. Williams, I can do this the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is you answer a few questions and I leave. The hard way is I start talking to your neighbors, your doctors, your pharmacist, everyone who knows your name." Ruth's blood went cold. "What do you want to know?" Kane smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. "Everything." Destiny got the call that afternoon. "Baby girl," her mother's voice was shaking. "A man came here, asking questions about you." "What kind of questions?" "All kinds. Where you grew up, where you went to school, who you dated, whether you ever got in trouble with the law." Destiny felt sick. "What did you tell him the truth?" "That my daughter is a good woman, a hard worker, someone who would never hurt a child." "Mama, I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to be dragged into this." "Don't you apologize to me," Ruth said fiercely. "You haven't done anything wrong. These people, whoever they are, they're the ones who should be ashamed." "I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby girl. Now you go fight, and you win. You hear me?" "Yes, Mama." Destiny hung up the phone. Her hands were shaking with rage. "She found Marcus in his office. They sent someone to my mother's apartment." Marcus looked up. "What? An investigator?" He interrogated her like she was a criminal. Marcus's face darkened. He stood up and grabbed his phone. "Catherine, it's Marcus. The Bennetts sent an investigator to harass Destiny's mother. Is that even legal?" Destiny couldn't hear Catherine's response, but she could see Marcus's expression getting angrier by the second. "I don't care if it's technically legal. It's harassment. There has to be something we can do." He listened for another moment, then hung up. "What did she say?" Marcus shook his head. "She said it's a common tactic. They're trying to find something, anything they can use against you, and they're trying to intimidate you into leaving. It's working. Don't let it." Marcus walked over to her. "That's exactly what they want. They want you scared. They want you gone. Don't give them that satisfaction. They went to my mother, Marcus, my sick elderly mother. They scared her. I know, and I'm sorry, but running away won't protect her. The only way to protect everyone is to win this case." Destiny took a deep breath. She thought about her mother, about Noah, about everything she had built over the past 2 months. "You're right," she said. We fight. 1 week before the hearing, Marcus found something that changed everything. He was going through Victoria's old belongings, things he hadn't touched since she died. Her clothes, her jewelry, her books. He wasn't sure why he was doing it. Maybe he was looking for strength. Maybe he was looking for guidance. Maybe he just wanted to feel close to her one more time. In the bottom of her dresser drawer, he found a letter. It was addressed to him, written in Victoria's handwriting. His hands trembled as he opened it. "My darling Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I wrote this letter because there are things I need you to know, things I might not have the strength to say at the end. First, I love you. I have loved you since the day we met, and I will love you forever, even when I'm no longer there. To show it. Second, and I'm sorry. Sorry for leaving you, sorry for the pain my death will cause. But please know that I'm not afraid. I'm at peace. Because I know that you will take care of our son." Marcus's vision blurred with tears. "Third, and this is important, please don't let my parents ruin your life. I know them better than anyone. I know how controlling they are, How judgmental. They never thought you were good enough for me, and they will never think anyone is good enough for Noah. But you are good enough. You are a wonderful man, and you will be a wonderful father. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Finally, please find happiness again. I know you think you never will, but I need you to try. Fall in love again. Let someone into your heart. Give Noah a mother who will love him the way I would have. Don't be alone, my darling. Life is too short and too precious to spend it grieving for what's lost. Honor my memory by living, by loving, by being happy. I love you forever. Victoria. Marcus sat on the floor of his bedroom sobbing. He hadn't cried like this since the funeral. Great heaving sobs that shook his entire body. Victoria had known. She had known what her parents would try to do, and she had tried to warn him. Give Noah a mother who will love him the way I would have. He thought about Destiny, her warmth, her kindness, her infinite capacity for love. Victoria would have liked her. Victoria would have chosen her. The night before the hearing, Destiny couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, running through every possible scenario in her head. What if they asked about her finances? What if they asked about her education? What if they asked about relationships, about men she had dated, about mistakes she had made years ago? She had nothing to hide, not really, but she knew how things could be twisted, how innocent details could be made to sound sinister. At 2 a.m, she gave up on sleep and walked to the main house. She found Marcus in the kitchen sitting at the table with a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. Couldn't sleep either, he asked. She shook her head. She sat down across from him. I'm scared, she admitted. I've never been to court before. I don't know what to expect. Neither do I. I've negotiated billion-dollar deals, but I've never had to fight for my own son. He pushed the letter across the table. I found this. Victoria wrote it before she died. Destiny read it slowly. Her eyes filled with tears. She wanted you to be happy. Yes. And she wanted Noah to have a mother. Yes. Destiny looked at him. I'm not trying to replace her, Marcus. I know. I would never try to take her place. I know that too. Marcus reached across the table and took her hand. But Destiny, she was right. I've been so focused on grief that I forgot how to live. I forgot how to love. Until you came along. Marcus, I'm not asking for anything. I know the timing is terrible. I know we have this hearing tomorrow and everything is uncertain, but I need you to know something. What? Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever the court decides, my feelings for you won't change. You're not just Noah's caregiver anymore. You're part of this family. You're part of me. Destiny felt her heart swell. I feel the same way, she whispered. You do, I think I have for a while. I just didn't know how to say it. Marcus smiled, that weary, uncertain smile that she had come to love. Then we face tomorrow together, whatever comes. Together. The courtroom was cold. Destiny sat in the back row, her hands folded in her lap, trying to control her breathing. Marcus sat at the front with Catherine. He was wearing his best suit. His face was calm, but Destiny could see the tension in his shoulders. On the other side of the room, Eleanor and Richard Bennett sat with their lawyer. A man named Victor Shaw, famous for winning custody cases that seemed unwinnable. Eleanor was dressed impeccably, pearls around her neck, designer suit, perfect makeup. She looked like a grandmother from a magazine. But when her eyes met Destiny's, there was nothing warm in them. Nothing kind. Only ice. The judge entered. Everyone rose. Please be seated. The judge was a woman in her 60s. Gray hair, stern face. She looked like someone who had seen everything and believed nothing. We're here today, she began to consider the petition for custody of Noah Marcus Thompson, currently 2 years of age. Victor Shaw stood first. Your Honor, my clients, Eleanor and Richard Bennett are here out of love and concern for their grandson. Since the tragic death of their daughter Victoria, they have watched helplessly as this child has suffered. Shaw walked slowly across the courtroom. Noah Thompson has had 4 different nannies in the past year. His father, Marcus Thompson, while financially successful, has been emotionally absent. He travels constantly for business. He works 14-hour days. He has consistently prioritized his company over his own son. Destiny's stomach churned. Most concerningly, Shaw continued, Mr. Thompson has recently brought an unqualified woman into his home to serve as his son's primary caregiver. This woman, Destiny Williams, has no formal training in childcare. She was originally hired as a maid. Her only qualification seems to be that she is available. Destiny felt the words like a slap. My clients can provide Noah with stability, love, and the proper upbringing he deserves. They are retired. They have the time, the resources, and the devotion to raise this child as their daughter would have wanted. Shaw sat down. Catherine Wells rose. Your Honor, I appreciate Mr. Shaw's dramatic presentation, but I'd like to introduce some facts. She walked to the center of the room. Yes, Mr. Thompson struggled after his wife's death. Who wouldn't? He lost the love of his life while watching her die slowly over 6 months. He was left alone with a newborn, and drowning in grief trying to keep his company afloat so his son would have a future. Catherine turned to face the judge directly. But Mr. Thompson didn't give up. He hired help, he built a support system, and when he realized that his son needed more, he made changes. He comes home every day at 5 o'clock now. He eats dinner with his son. He reads him bedtime stories. He is present in every way that matters. And as for Ms. Williams, Catherine continued, she may not have formal training, but she has something more important. She has a heart. Noah Thompson was deteriorating before she came. He wasn't eating. He wasn't sleeping. He had stopped speaking. In 6 weeks under her care, he is transformed. He is happy. He is healthy. He is thriving. Catherine returned to her seat. I asked the court to consider what is truly best for this child. Not what looks best on paper. Not what wealthy grandparents claim they can provide, but what Noah himself has shown he needs. The judge looked at both sides. I'd like to hear from Mr. Thompson. Marcus stood. He walked to the witness stand. His hands were steady. His voice was calm, but Destiny could see the fear in his eyes. Mr. Thompson, the judge said, tell me about your relationship with your son. Marcus took a breath. My relationship with Noah is the most important thing in my life. I know I haven't always shown it. After Victoria died, I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know how to look at my son without seeing the woman I'd lost. So I hid. I worked. I let other people take care of him because I couldn't face my own grief. He paused. But I'm not hiding anymore. I'm here. I'm present. I'm trying every single day to be the father Noah deserves. And what about Ms. Williams? The judge asked. Destiny saved my son's life, Marcus said simply. She saw him when no one else did. She loved him when I couldn't. If that makes her unqualified in the eyes of this court, then I don't know what qualified means. The judge nodded. Ms. Williams, I'd like to hear from you as well. Destiny's heart stopped. She hadn't expected this. She stood on shaking legs and walked to the front of the courtroom. Ms. Williams, the judge said, tell me about your relationship with Noah. Destiny took a breath. Your Honor, I'm not his mother. I know that. I'm not trying to replace anyone. I'm just someone who heard a little boy crying in the dark and couldn't walk away. Her voice trembled. When I first came to the Thompson house, I was just the maid. I wasn't supposed to talk to Noah. I wasn't supposed to even look at him. But I heard him crying every night alone, terrified, and nobody came. Tears spilled down her cheeks. So I went to him. I held him. I sang to him. I told him he was safe. And he looked at me with those big brown eyes and he said, thank you, and my heart broke into a million pieces. She wiped her face. I don't have money. I don't have fancy degrees. I don't have anything except love. But I love that little boy like he's my own, and I will spend every day of my life protecting him, caring for him, being there for him. The judge was quiet for a long moment. Where does Noah belong, Ms. Williams? Destiny looked at Marcus, then at Eleanor. He belongs with his father, with someone who loves him, not with people who only showed up when they wanted to take something away. Eleanor's face went red with fury. The judge nodded. Thank you. You may sit down. Destiny walked back to her seat. Her legs almost gave out. The judge looked at Eleanor. Mrs. Bennett, I'd like to hear from you. Eleanor stood. She smoothed her jacket. She walked to the front with the confidence of someone who had never lost anything in her life. Your Honor, my daughter is dead. She died bringing that child into the world. And ever since I have watched her husband neglect him, ignore him, and now hand him over to a complete stranger. Her voice dripped with contempt. This woman, this Destiny Williams, has no business raising my grandson. She's a maid, a cleaning lady. She came from nothing, and she has nothing. The only reason she's here is because she saw an opportunity and she took it. Destiny felt the words like poison. My husband and I can give Noah everything, Eleanor continued. Stability, structure, a proper education, a proper upbringing. Everything his mother would have wanted. The judge interrupted. Mrs. Bennett, when was the last time you visited your grandson before filing this petition? Eleanor hesitated. I'm sorry. When was the last time you came to see Noah before this custody case began? Eleanor's composure flickered. We've been meaning to visit, but with our schedules. So you haven't visited at all. We've been in contact with the staff. We've kept informed. But you haven't actually seen your grandson in person. Eleanor's jaw tightened. No, not once since your daughter's funeral 14 months ago. Silence, the judge made a note. Thank you, Mrs. Bennet. You may sit down. Eleanor returned to her seat. Her face was stone, but Destiny saw something crack behind her eyes. The judge looked at both sides. I've heard enough. I'm going to recess for 30 minutes to consider my decision. She stood and left the room. The next 30 minutes were the longest of Destiny's life. She sat in the hallway with Marcus. Neither of them spoke. There was nothing to say. When they were finally called back into the courtroom, Destiny's heart was beating so hard she could hear it in her ears. The judge returned to her seat. I've made my decision. Destiny reached for Marcus's hand. He grabbed it and held on tight. Custody of Noah Marcus Thompson will remain with his father, Marcus Thompson. Destiny almost collapsed with relief. Marcus let out a breath he had been holding for weeks, but the judge wasn't finished. However, I am ordering monthly check-ins by a court-appointed social worker. I am also ordering that Mr. Thompson continue to demonstrate his involvement in his son's life. If at any point I receive evidence that Noah is not being properly cared for, I will revisit this decision. She looked at Marcus. Do you understand, Mr. Thompson? Yes, Your Honor. And Mrs. Bennet, the judge, turned to Eleanor. I would caution you to think carefully before pursuing any further action. Your grandson is thriving in his current environment. Your attempts to remove him would cause significant trauma. Eleanor's face was white with rage. This isn't over, she hissed. Mrs. Bennet, the judge, said sharply, if you continue to harass this family, I will issue a restraining order. Do I make myself clear? Eleanor said nothing. Court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Marcus pulled Destiny into his arms. We did it, he breathed. We actually did it. Destiny was crying, laughing, shaking. We won. We won. They held each other for a long moment. Then Marcus pulled back. His eyes found hers. Destiny. I need to tell you something. What I love you. The words hit her like sunlight. What I love you. I think I have for a while. I was just too scared to say it. Destiny's heart soared. I love you too. Marcus smiled. That full, real smile she had only seen a handful of times. Then let's go home, he said. Let's go tell Noah the good news. Yes? They walked down the courthouse steps together, hand in hand. Behind them, Eleanor Bennet watched from the shadows. Her eyes were cold. Her jaw was set. She pulled out her phone. This isn't over, she said to whoever answered. Find something else. I don't care what it costs. She hung up, and in her eyes there was nothing but vengeance. 3 months passed after the custody hearing. 3 months of peace. 3 months of healing. 3 months of something that felt almost like a dream. Noah was a different child now. He laughed every day. He ate everything Destiny put in front of him. He slept through the night without a single nightmare. And Marcus was a different man. He came home every evening at 5 o'clock sharp. He played with Noah before dinner. He read him stories before bed. He was present in a way he hadn't been since Victoria died. But more than that, he was happy. Destiny saw it in his eyes, the way the coldness had thawed, the way the emptiness had filled, the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching. She felt it too. This warmth that had crept into her chest and refused to leave. This feeling of belonging she had never experienced before. She loved him. She knew that now. Loved him in a way that scared her and thrilled her and made her want to run away and stay forever all at the same time. And he loved her back. They hadn't talked about it since the courthouse, hadn't put words to it again, but it was there between them, growing stronger every day. One evening in late October, after Noah had gone to bed, Marcus found Destiny in the kitchen. Can I show you something? She looked up from the dishes she was washing. What is it? Come with me. He took her hand and led her through the house, up the stairs, down a hallway she had never been in before. They stopped in front of a closed door. I've never shown this to anyone, Marcus said quietly. Not since Victoria died. He opened the door. It was a room filled with photographs. Hundreds of them. Victoria and Marcus on their wedding day. Victoria pregnant. Victoria holding newborn Noah. Victoria laughing. Victoria crying. Victoria living. Destiny felt tears sting her eye. She was beautiful. She was everything Marcus said. For a long time, I thought I would never feel anything again. I thought I would spend the rest of my life in this room looking at these pictures, wishing I could go back. What changed you? Destiny turned to look at him. Marcus took both her hands in his. Victoria wrote me a letter before she died. She told me to find happiness again. She told me to fall in love again. She told me to give Noah a mother. Marcus. I didn't believe her. I didn't think it was possible, but then you came along and you proved me wrong. I'm not trying to replace her. I know. And you're not. You're not replacing anyone. You're creating something new, something different, something that's just ours." His eyes were shining. "I love you, Destiny. I love you in a way I didn't think I could love again, and I want to spend the rest of my life showing you how much." Destiny's heart was pounding. "Are you asking me what I think you're asking?" Marcus smiled. "Not yet. Not tonight. I want to do it properly. But I needed you to know. I needed you to understand that this isn't temporary. This isn't convenience. This is real." Destiny reached up and touched his face. "I love you too. I have loved you since the day you apologized to me, since the day you became the man Noah needed, since the day you looked at me and saw someone worth loving." Marcus pulled her close. He kissed her. It was their first real kiss, soft, tender, full of promise. When they finally pulled apart, Destiny was crying. "Happy tears?" Marcus asked. "The happiest." They stood there for a long moment holding each other, surrounded by pictures of a woman who had loved them both. And somewhere Destiny was sure Victoria was smiling. 2 weeks later, Destiny brought her mother to the Thompson estate. Ruth Williams had never seen anything like it. She stood in the foyer, leaning on her walker, her eyes wide with wonder. "Lord have mercy, baby girl. You live here, I do now, Mama." Ruth shook her head slowly. "When you were little, I used to dream about giving you a better life. I used to imagine you living in a nice house with a good man and beautiful children. But I never imagined anything like this." Destiny hugged her mother. "You gave me everything I needed, Mama. You taught me how to love. You taught me how to work hard. You taught me how to never give up. Everything I have now is because of you." Ruth's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so proud of you, baby. So proud." A small voice interrupted them. "Is that Grace's mama?" They turned. Noah was standing in the doorway, clutching his teddy bear. "Yes, sweetheart," Destiny said. "This is my mama. Her name is Ruth." Noah walked over slowly. He looked up at Ruth with those big brown eyes. "Hi," he said shyly. Ruth smiled. Her whole face transformed. "Well, hello there, precious boy. Aren't you the most handsome little man I ever saw?" Noah giggled. "I'm Noah. Nice to meet you, Noah. I've heard so much about you. Grace talks about me all the time. She says you're the best boy in the whole world." Noah beamed. "Can you read me a story?" Ruth laughed. "If these old legs can get me to wherever your books are, I'd be happy to." Noah grabbed her hand. "Come on, I'll show you." He led Ruth away, chattering excitedly about his favorite stories. Destiny watched them go, her heart overflowing. "He's wonderful," she turned. Marcus was standing behind her. "He really is," she said. "And your mother is wonderful too. She's the best person I know." Marcus walked over and put his arm around her. "This is what I want," he said quietly. "This is what I've been missing. Family, real family." "Me too. Do you think she likes me?" Destiny laughed. "She hasn't met you properly yet. But she will. And she'll love you. How could she not?" "I don't know. I'm not exactly easy to love. You're easier than you think." Marcus kissed her forehead. "I have something to ask you." "What?" "Not here. Later. When we're alone." Destiny's heart skipped. "Is it what I think it is?" Marcus smiled mysteriously. "You'll have to wait and see." That evening, after Noah was asleep and Ruth had gone to rest in the guest room, Marcus led Destiny to the garden. The stars were out. The air was cool. The world was quiet. Marcus stopped walking. He turned to face her. "Destiny Williams. Marcus Thompson. I've been thinking about this moment for weeks. I've been rehearsing what to say, but now that we're here, all my words have disappeared." Destiny's breath caught. "So I'm just going to say what's in my heart." Marcus reached into his pocket. "When you came into my life, I was broken. I was empty. I was a ghost walking through a life I didn't want anymore. You changed that. You brought color back into my world. You brought warmth back into my heart. You brought my son back to life, and then you brought me back too." He got down on one knee. Destiny gasped. "I don't have a perfect speech. I don't have all the right words. I just have this ring that belonged to my grandmother and this question that I've been afraid to ask because I was terrified you might say no." He opened the box. Inside was a simple diamond ring. Elegant, beautiful, perfect. "Destiny Williams. Will you marry me?" Destiny couldn't breathe. She looked at this man, this beautiful, broken, healing man, who had transformed her life in ways she never thought possible. "Yes," she whispered. "What?" "Yes. Yes, I'll marry you." Marcus's face broke into the biggest smile she had ever seen. He slipped the ring onto her finger. He stood and pulled her into his arms. He spun her around, laughing, crying, holding her like he would never let go. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." They kissed under the stars. And for that one perfect moment, everything was right with the world. But perfect moments never last. The next morning, Destiny woke to the sound of her phone buzzing. She reached for it groggily. A text from an unknown number. She opened it. Her blood turned to ice. It was a photo of her, standing outside the courthouse, with a headline beneath it. "Billionaire's maid becomes Mistress Gold Digger or True Love." Destiny sat up. Her hands were shaking. She scrolled through her phone. Social media was exploding. News sites were running the story. Comments were pouring in from everywhere. "She's obviously using him for his money. Poor little rich boy got played by the help. What kind of man marries his maid? Pathetic." She saw herself everywhere. Pictures from the courthouse. Pictures from the grocery store. Pictures from the pharmacy where she picked up her mother's medication. Someone had been following her, watching her, photographing her, and now the whole world knew her name. Marcus burst through the door. "Have you seen?" Destiny nodded. She couldn't speak. "It's the Bennetts." Marcus's voice was shaking with fury. "It has to be. They leaked this to the press." "Why? We won the case." "Because they can't accept losing. They can't stand that Noah is happy. They want to destroy us any way they can." Destiny looked down at the ring on her finger. "Maybe we should postpone the engagement. Maybe we should wait until this blows over." "No." Marcus sat down beside her. "That's exactly what they want. They want us to hide. They want us to be ashamed. I won't give them that satisfaction. But Marcus, the things people are saying. People will always talk. Let them. The only thing that matters is what we know is true." He took her hand. "I love you. You love me. Noah loves you. That's all that matters." Destiny wanted to believe him, but the comments kept coming. Gold digger, opportunist, homewrecker, and deep inside, in a place she tried to keep hidden, she wondered if they were right. The harassment got worse over the following weeks. Anonymous emails flooded Destiny's inbox. Vile messages about her race, her background, her worthlessness. Someone spray-painted the word "gold digger" on the gate of the Thompson estate. Photographers camped outside, waiting for any chance to catch her in an unflattering moment, and then the letters started arriving at her mother's apartment. Ruth called her in tears. "Baby girl, what's happening? Who are these people? What do you mean, Mama? Someone pushed a letter under my door. It says terrible things. Things I can't even repeat." Destiny felt rage bubbling up inside her. "Don't read any more, Mama. Throw them away. But who would do this?" "Why? Because I fell in love with a rich man. Because some people can't stand to see a black woman from Harlem find happiness. This isn't right, baby. This isn't fair. I know, Mama. I know." That night, Destiny found Marcus in his office staring at his computer. "What is it?" He turned the screen toward her. "Someone leaked our address, our real address. It's all over the internet." Destiny's heart stopped. "What does that mean?" "It means we're not safe anymore. It means anyone who wants to find us can find us." "Noah, I'm hiring security. 24 hours a day. No one gets in or out without clearance." "Marcus, this is insane. We're living like prisoners. I know, but I will not let anything happen to you or Noah. I will protect this family with my life if I have to." Destiny saw the fear in his eyes. The determination. She realized then how much he had changed. The cold, distant man who had fired her 4 months ago was gone. In his place was someone who would burn down the world to keep the people he loved safe. "We'll get through this," she said. "Together, together." But even as she said it, she wasn't sure she believed it. The twist came on a Tuesday afternoon. Destiny was in the kitchen preparing Noah's lunch when her phone rang. "Hello, Ms. Williams. This is Detective Sarah Chen from the New York Police Department. I need you to come down to the station." Destiny's stomach dropped. "Why? What's wrong? We've received a complaint against you. I can't discuss details over the phone." "Can you come in today? A complaint? What kind of complaint, ma'am? I really need you to come to the station." Destiny's mind was racing. "I'll be there in an hour." She hung up. Her hands were shaking. What could this possibly be about? She called Marcus immediately. "I'll come with you," he said. "No, stay with Noah. I don't want him to see us panicking." "Destiny, I'm not letting you face this alone. I'll be fine. I just need to find out what's going on. Call me the second you know anything. I will." At the police station, Detective Chen led Destiny into a small interview room. "Please sit down, Ms. Williams." Destiny sat. "Am I in trouble? That depends on how you answer some questions." The detective placed a folder on the table. "Do you know a woman named Margaret Porter?" Destiny searched her memory. "No, I've never heard that name." "She claims you assaulted her outside a grocery store 3 weeks ago. What?" That's insane. I've never assaulted anyone in my life. She says you pushed her to the ground and threatened her. Destiny felt the room spinning. That's a lie. A complete lie. She has a witness who corroborates her story. Then they're both lying. This never happened. Detective Chen studied her for a long moment. Ms. Williams, I have to be honest with you. This whole thing feels strange to me. The timing, the details, the fact that this Margaret Porter has connections to the Bennett family. Destiny's blood ran cold. The Bennetts. Eleanor Bennett is her sister-in-law. Destiny put her head in her hands. They're framing me. They're trying to get me arrested so I'll be taken away from Noah. That's my suspicion as well. But I need evidence. Without proof that this complaint is fraudulent, I have to investigate. What do I do? Get a lawyer, a good one, and be very careful who you trust. Destiny left the police station feeling like the ground was crumbling beneath her feet. She called Marcus. He listened to everything. Then he said one word, Catherine. Their lawyer? She knows people, criminal defense attorneys. We're getting you the best representation money can buy. Marcus, I didn't do this. I didn't assault anyone. I know. I believe you completely. We're going to prove it. But what if we can't? What if they've set this up perfectly? What if I go to jail? You're not going to jail? I won't let that happen. You can't control everything. Watch me. That night after Noah was asleep, Marcus and Destiny sat together in the living room. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally, Destiny broke the silence. Maybe this is a sign. What do you mean, maybe I'm not supposed to be here? Maybe I'm bringing too much trouble into your life. Don't say that. Marcus, look at what's happening. The press, the harassment, now a false assault charge. All of this is because of me. All of this because of the Bennetts. Not because of you, but if I wasn't here, they wouldn't have ammunition. If you weren't here, I would be lost. Noah would be lost. You are the best thing that ever happened to this family. Destiny's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared. I'm so scared of losing everything. Of losing you. Of losing Noah. Of being taken away and never seeing him again. Marcus pulled her close. Listen to me. I failed once. I let fear control me. I pushed away the people I loved because I was afraid of getting hurt again. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. He lifted her chin so she was looking into his eyes. You are my family. You are my future. And I will fight the Bennetts, the press, the entire world if I have to, but I will not lose you. Do you understand? Destiny nodded. I understand. Then trust me. Trust that we're going to get through this. I trust you. Good. He kissed her forehead. Now let's figure out how to destroy these people. The investigation into the assault charge took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of lawyers. 2 weeks of depositions. 2 weeks of stress that aged them both by years. But then Catherine called with news. We found something. What Margaret Porter's phone records. She received a payment of $50,000 from an account linked to the Bennett Family Trust 3 days before she filed the complaint. Destiny's heart leaped. That proves it was a setup. It proves financial motivation combined with the family connection and some inconsistencies in her story. I think we have enough. What do? We take this to the detective, and then we go on the offensive. The detective reviewed the evidence. She called Destiny personally. Ms. Williams, I'm dropping the investigation. The complaint has been determined to be fraudulent. I'm also opening a new investigation into Margaret Porter and whoever paid her to lie. Destiny felt a weight lift off her shoulders. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry you had to go through this. But there's something else you should know. What I've been doing some digging? The Bennetts have been planning this for months. The press leaks the harassment, the assault charge. It's all part of a coordinated campaign to destroy your reputation and take Noah away. Why are you telling me this? Because I have a daughter, and if anyone tried to take her away from me with lies and money, I would want to know the truth. Is there anything we can do? Document everything. Save every email, every letter, every piece of evidence, and consider filing a civil suit for harassment. We will. Thank you, Detective. Good luck, Miss Williams. That evening, Marcus gathered his legal team. I want to sue the Bennetts, he said. For harassment, for conspiracy, for emotional distress, for everything we can possibly claim. Catherine nodded. We'll start preparing the case immediately. I want them to pay for what they've done, not just financially. I want the world to know what kind of people they really are. Are you sure about this? Going public could bring more attention. I don't care about attention. I care about protecting my family, and the best way to do that is to expose the truth. Destiny watched him from across the room. This was the man she loved, not the cold billionaire, not the absent father. This man, this warrior. She walked over and took his hand. Whatever happens, she said, we do this together. Marcus squeezed her hand. Together. The lawsuit was filed 2 days later. The news exploded. Billionaire sues in-laws for harassment campaign against fiancé. The story was everywhere. Every news outlet, every social media platform, every talk show. But this time, the narrative was different. People started to see the truth. Those poor people. Can you imagine being targeted like that? The Bennetts are monsters. How could they do this to their own grandson's family? Destiny seems like such a kind woman. She doesn't deserve this. The tide was turning. Eleanor and Richard Bennett released a statement denying all allegations. No one believed them. Their lawyers tried to get the case dismissed. The judge refused. Slowly, methodically, the truth came out. The payments to Margaret Porter, the coordination with the tabloids, the private investigator who had been following Destiny for months. Everything was exposed. The Bennett's reputation crumbled. Their friends distanced themselves. Their social standing collapsed. They became pariahs in the community they had once dominated, and then on a gray morning in December, Eleanor Bennett made a phone call. She called Marcus. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Please, it's important. Silence. Fine, you have 5 minutes. They met at a coffee shop in Manhattan. Neutral territory. Eleanor looked different. Older. Smaller. The arrogance that had once defined her was gone. I came to apologize. Marcus stared at her. You expect me to believe that I don't expect anything, but I need to say it anyway. She folded her hands on the table. I've spent 14 months trying to destroy you, trying to take Noah, trying to punish you for surviving when my daughter didn't. Her voice cracked. But I was wrong. I see that now. Noah is happy. He's healthy. He's loved. That's all Victoria ever wanted for him. Why the change of heart? Because I went to see a therapist, someone Victoria recommended years ago. I finally admitted that I've been using anger to avoid feeling grief. Tears slid down her cheeks. I miss her so much, every day, and I thought if I could just control Noah, if I could just have some piece of her back, the pain would stop. But it didn't. It just got worse. Marcus didn't know what to say. I'm dropping the civil defense? Eleanor continued. I'm telling my lawyers to settle. Whatever you want. It's yours. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? I want you to leave my family alone. I want you to never contact us again. I want Noah to grow up without your poison in his life. Eleanor flinched. But what? But if you're serious about changing, if you really want to be different, then maybe someday, years from now, we can talk about you having a relationship with your grandson. A supervised one. On our terms. Eleanor's eyes widened. You would do that for Noah. He should know where he came from. He should know about Victoria. And whether I like it or not, you're part of that story. Eleanor wiped her eyes. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You have a long way to go to earn our trust. I know I do. She stood. Tell Destiny I'm sorry. For everything. Tell her yourself. Someday. Eleanor nodded. She walked out of the coffee shop. Marcus sat alone for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. He called Destiny. It's over. It's really over. What happened? I'll tell you everything when I get home. Is everything okay? Everything is more than okay. Everything is perfect. He hung up. He looked out the window at the gray December sky. For the first time in 14 months, he felt free. That night, Marcus came home to find Destiny and Noah in the living room building a tower out of blocks. Daddy's home, Noah shouted. He jumped up and ran to Marcus. Marcus scooped him up and held him tight. Hey, buddy, what are you building a castle? For Grace. She's going to be a princess. Destiny laughed. He's been planning this all day. Marcus set Noah down and walked over to her. He pulled her into his arms. Eleanor surrendered, he said quietly. What? She apologized. She's dropping everything. It's over. Destiny's eyes filled with tears. Really? It's really over. It's really over. She buried her face in his chest. He held her while she cried. Noah tugged on Marcus's pants. Why is Grace crying happy tears, buddy? Grace is crying happy tears. Oh. Noah thought about this. Then he hugged Destiny's legs. Don't cry, Grace. I love you. Destiny knelt down and hugged him back. I love you too, sweet boy. So much. Marcus watched them. His family, his heart, his home. And for the first time since Victoria died, he believed in forever. The wedding was set for Valentine's Day. 6 months after Destiny first walked into the Thompson estate as a maid. 6 months after she heard a little boy crying in the dark and couldn't walk away. 6 months after everything changed. Destiny stood in front of the mirror in the bridal suite staring at her reflection. The dress was simple, elegant, white silk that flowed like water. Nothing too fancy, nothing too extravagant, just her. She barely recognized herself. A knock on the door. Baby girl. Ruth Williams shuffled in leaning on her walker, but moving stronger than she had in years. The new medication was working. The constant care was working. For the first time in a decade, Ruth looked like herself again. Oh, baby. Ruth's eyes filled with tears. Look at you. Do I look okay? Okay, Ruth laughed through her tears. You look like an angel, like something out of a dream. Destiny felt her own eyes burn. I never thought this would happen, Mama. I never thought I'd have any of this. Ruth walked closer. She took Destiny's hands in hers. Listen to me. You deserve every single thing that's happening to you. Every blessing, every joy, every moment of happiness. You earned it with your kindness, with your courage, with your beautiful heart. Mama, I spent so many years watching you sacrifice, watching you work yourself to the bone for me, watching you put your own dreams aside, and I prayed every single night that God would give you something back, that He would show you how special you are. Ruth squeezed her hands. He answered my prayers, baby. He gave you Marcus. He gave you Noah. He gave you a family. Destiny pulled her mother into a hug. You're my family too, Mama. You always will be. I know, baby. I know. They held each other for a long moment. Then Ruth pulled back and wiped her eyes. Now stop making me cry. I spent an hour on this makeup. Destiny laughed. For the first time all day, the nervousness melted away. She was ready. The ceremony was held in the garden of the Thompson estate. 300 guests, flowers everywhere, music floating through the air. But Destiny didn't see any of it. She only saw Marcus. He was standing at the altar wearing a dark suit, watching her walk toward him. His eyes were shining. His hands were clasped in front of him. He looked like a man who had finally found his way home. Noah walked beside Destiny, carrying the rings on a small pillow. He was wearing a tiny tuxedo, his curly hair combed neatly, his face serious with concentration. Don't drop them, he whispered to himself. Don't drop them. Destiny smiled. This was her family. This was her life. She reached the altar. Marcus took her hands. Hi, he whispered. Hi. You look incredible. You don't look so bad yourself. The officiant cleared his throat. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Marcus James Thompson and Destiny Ruth Williams. Destiny's heart was pounding. She looked at Marcus. He looked at her. The rest of the world disappeared. Marcus, the officiant, said, You may speak your vows. Marcus took a breath. Destiny. 9 months ago, I was a broken man. I had lost my wife. I had lost my way. I had lost my ability to love. I was living in darkness, and I didn't think I would ever see light again. His voice cracked. Then you came. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't wait for an invitation. You just saw my son crying in the dark, and you went to him. You loved him when no one else would. You saved him when I couldn't. Tears slipped down Destiny's cheeks. And then you saved me. You showed me that my heart wasn't dead. You showed me that I could feel again, hope again, love again. You showed me that the best parts of life aren't behind me. They're standing right in front of me. He squeezed her hands. I promise to love you for the rest of my days. I promise to protect you, support you, cherish you. I promise to be the husband you deserve and the father Noah needs. I promise to never take you for granted, never stop trying, never forget how lucky I am. He smiled through his tears. You are my second chance, my miracle, my grace. And I will spend every day of my life being grateful for you. Destiny couldn't speak. She was crying too hard. The officiant waited patiently. Destiny, whenever you're ready. She took a shaky breath. Marcus. When I walked into this house 9 months ago, I was nobody. I was a maid. I was poor. I was invisible. I had nothing to offer except my hands and my heart. She looked into his eyes. You didn't see any of that. You didn't see the poverty or the struggle or the pain. You saw me, the real me. And when you looked at me, I finally felt like I mattered. Her voice steadied. I fell in love with your son first. His sweet face, his gentle heart, his desperate need for someone to see him. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't walk past his door when he was crying. I couldn't pretend I didn't care. She smiled. And then I fell in love with you. The man who apologized when he was wrong. The man who fought for his son. The man who looked at me like I was treasure when the rest of the world looked at me like I was trash. Marcus's tears matched hers now. I promised to love Noah like my own. I promised to honor Victoria's memory and raise him the way she would have wanted. I promised to stand beside you through everything good and bad, easy and hard. I promised to be your partner, your best friend, your home." She lifted his hands to her lips and kissed them. "You gave me a family, Marcus. You gave me a future. You gave me hope, and I will spend every day of my life making sure you never regret it." The officiant smiled. "By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Marcus pulled her close. He kissed her. The crowd erupted in applause. Noah jumped up and down. They kissed. Daddy and Grace kissed. Everyone laughed. Destiny and Marcus pulled apart. They looked at each other. "We did it," Marcus whispered. "We did it." They turned to face their guests, 300 people on their feet, clapping, cheering, celebrating. But in the back row alone stood Eleanor Bennett. She wasn't clapping, she was crying. Not tears of anger or bitterness, tears of something else entirely. The reception was everything Destiny had never dared to dream. Dancing, laughter, speeches that made everyone cry, food that tasted like heaven, music that filled the soul. Destiny danced with Marcus until her feet ached. She danced with Noah, lifting him in her arms and spinning him around while he giggled. She danced with her mother, slowly, carefully, both of them crying. And then in the middle of it all, someone tapped her shoulder. She turned. Eleanor Bennett stood there. Destiny's guard went up immediately. "What do you want?" Eleanor's face was pale. Her eyes were red. "I just wanted to say something, then I'll go." Destiny crossed her arms. "Say it." Eleanor took a breath. "I was wrong about you. I was wrong about everything. I spent months trying to destroy you because I was angry and grieving and looking for someone to blame." Her voice trembled. "But watching you today, watching you with Noah, watching you with Marcus, I finally understand. You're not trying to replace my daughter. You're trying to honor her." Destiny's expression softened slightly. "Victoria would have loved you," Eleanor continued. "She would have loved how gentle you are with Noah. She would have loved how you look at Marcus. She would have loved that her son has someone who cares for him the way you do." Eleanor wiped her eyes. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I caused you terrible pain, but I wanted you to know that I see it now. I see how wrong I was, and I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry." Destiny was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "I don't forgive easily, Mrs. Bennett. You tried to take my family away. You tried to destroy my reputation. You tried to have me arrested." Eleanor flinched. "But I also know what grief can do to a person. I know how it can twist you into someone you don't recognize. I watched my mother go through it when my father died. I watched Marcus go through it when Victoria died." She uncrossed her arms. "So I'm not going to forgive you today, but I'm not going to hate you either. If you're serious about changing, about being different, then prove it. Show up. Be consistent. Earn it." "I will." Eleanor's voice was thick with tears. "I promise I will. Noah deserves to know his grandmother, the real one, not the one who was consumed by anger. I want to be that person, more than anything. Then be her." Destiny held out her hand. Eleanor stared at it for a moment. Then she took it. They shook hands. Not friends, not family, but something. A beginning. Marcus appeared at Destiny's side. "Everything okay here?" Destiny nodded. "Everything's fine. Mrs. Bennett was just leaving." Eleanor released Destiny's hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for giving me a chance." She walked away. Marcus watched her go. "What was that about?" she apologized. "Do you believe her Destiny thought about it? I think she wants to change. Whether she actually can, I don't know, but I'm willing to let her try. You're a better person than I am." "No, I'm just a person who knows what it's like to be given a second chance." Marcus smiled. He pulled her close. "Have I told you today how much I love you only about 100 times? Well, here's 101. I love you, Mrs. Thompson." Destiny's heart swelled. "I love you too, Mr. Thompson." They kissed again, and the music played on. 1 year later, the Thompson estate was filled with noise. Not the quiet, empty kind of noise that had haunted it when Destiny first arrived. Real noise. Laughter, shouting, running footsteps, life. Noah was 4 now. He ran through the house like a whirlwind, his curly hair bouncing his smile bright enough to light up any room. "Grace, Grace, come see what I made." Destiny looked up from the book she was reading. "What did you make?" Sweetheart Noah held up a drawing. It was a picture of 3 people standing together. A tall man, a woman with dark skin, a small boy between them. "It's our family," Noah said proudly. Destiny's heart melted. "It's beautiful, baby. The most beautiful picture I've ever seen. Can we put it on the refrigerator?" "Of course we can." She took the picture and walked to the kitchen. Rosa was there preparing lunch. "Another masterpiece?" Rosa asked with a smile. "The best one yet." Destiny taped the picture to the refrigerator right next to all the others. Dozens of drawings, months of memories, a lifetime of love captured in crayon and paper. Rosa looked at her. "You know, mija, I've worked in this house for 10 years. I've seen good times and bad times, but I've never seen it like this. Like what alive?" Rosa's eyes were warm. "You brought life back into this house. You brought love. You brought family." Destiny hugged her. "Thank you, Rosa, for everything, for believing in me when no one else did. I always knew you were special. From the first day you walked through that door." The front door opened. Marcus walked in, still wearing his suit from work. Noah came running. Daddy Marcus scooped him up. "Hey, buddy, did you have a good day? I made a picture." Grace put it on the refrigerator. "Let me see." They walked to the kitchen together. Marcus looked at the drawing. His eyes misted over. "Noah, this is incredible. You're becoming quite the artist. Mom taught me." The word hung in the air. Mom. Noah had started calling her that 2 months ago. Slowly at first, tentatively, like he was testing to see if it was allowed, and every single time it hit Destiny right in the heart. Did she now? Marcus looked at Destiny. "Mom's a pretty good teacher." Destiny smiled. "I learned from the best." That evening, after Noah was asleep, Marcus and Destiny sat on the porch. The stars were out. The night was warm. Everything was peaceful. "I have something to tell you," Destiny said. Marcus looked at her. "What is it?" She took his hand. She placed it on her stomach. "I'm pregnant." Marcus froze. "What I found out this morning. I wanted to wait until we were alone to tell you." Marcus stared at her. His face went through 1,000 emotions in a single second. "You're pregnant." "Yes. We're having a baby." "Yes. A baby." "Marcus." He pulled her into his arms. He held her so tight she could barely breathe. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Oh my God. Destiny. Are you happy?" He pulled back. His face was wet with tears. "Happy doesn't even begin to cover it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm terrified. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life." Destiny laughed through her own tears. "Me too. Noah's going to be a big brother. He's going to be so excited." "When can we tell him tomorrow? I wanted you to know first." Marcus kissed her, long and deep and full of wonder. "I love you," he said against her lips. "I love you too." "How far along are you? 8 weeks?" 8 weeks. Marcus shook his head. "Our whole life is about to change." "Is that okay?" "It's more than okay. It's everything." They sat together on the porch, hands intertwined, dreaming about the future. And somewhere in the stars, Destiny could have sworn she saw Victoria smiling down at them. The pregnancy was hard, morning sickness that lasted all day, exhaustion that made her bones ache, mood swings that left Marcus confused and Destiny crying. But through it all, Marcus was there. He held her hair back when she was sick. He rubbed her feet when they were swollen. He made midnight runs for ice cream and pickles and whatever else she was craving. And Noah was there too. He would press his ear against her belly and talk to the baby. "Hi, baby. I'm your big brother. I'm going to teach you everything. How to build blocks, how to draw pictures, how to make Grace smile." Destiny would run her fingers through his hair. "The baby is so lucky to have you, sweetheart. I know. I'm the best big brother ever." Marcus would laugh. And Destiny would think this is what happiness feels like. This is what family feels like, but not everything was easy. 5 months into the pregnancy, Destiny got a phone call. "Baby girl," Ruth's voice was weak. "I need to see you." Destiny's blood ran cold. "What's wrong, Mama? Just come, please." Destiny drove to Harlem as fast as she could. She found her mother sitting in her favorite chair, looking tired but peaceful. "Mama, what is it? Are you okay?" Ruth smiled. "Sit down, baby." Destiny sat. "I went to the doctor yesterday," Ruth said. "Got some tests done." "What kind of tests?" "The usual kind. Blood work, heart stuff. You know how it is." She paused. "They found something." Destiny's heart stopped. "What do you mean, a blockage?" "In my heart. They said I need surgery. Surgery when next month." Destiny felt tears burn her eyes. "Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you worrying. You're pregnant. You've got enough on your plate. Mama, you're my mother. Of course I'm going to worry." Ruth reached out and took her hand. "Listen to me. I'm not scared. I've lived a good life. I've seen my baby girl find happiness. I've got a grandson who calls me Grandma Ruth, and now there's another grandbaby on the way." She squeezed Destiny's hand. "Whatever happens, I'm at peace." Don't talk like that. You're going to be fine. The surgery is going to work. I hope so, baby, but if it doesn't, I need you to know something. Mama, you are the strongest person I've ever known. You took care of me when you should have been living your own life. You sacrificed everything, and now look at you." Ruth's eyes were shining. "You're happy, you're loved, you have a family of your own. That's all I ever wanted for you, and no matter what happens to me, that can never be taken away." Destiny was crying now. "I'm not ready to lose you, Mama. You're not going to lose me, baby. I'm going to fight. I've got too much to live for now. Promise me, I promise." They held each other for a long time. Two mothers, two women who had survived everything life threw at them. Together, the surgery was scheduled for the first week of December. Marcus insisted on paying for the best cardiac surgeon in the country. He flew Ruth to the best hospital. He made sure she had a private room and round-the-clock care. The night before the surgery, Destiny sat by her mother's bed. "You don't have to stay all night," Ruth said. "Yes, I do. Baby girl, you're 7 months pregnant. You need your rest. I'm not leaving you." Ruth smiled. "Stubborn, just like your father." Destiny felt tears prick her eyes. "Tell me about him, Mama. I want to hear the stories again." Ruth's face softened. "Your father was the best man I ever knew. Hard worker, kind heart. He used to sing to you when you were a baby, old gospel songs. You'd fall asleep in his arms every time. I wish I remembered more. You were so young when he died, but he's still with you, baby. Every time you help someone, every time you show kindness, every time you love without expecting anything back. That's him." Destiny wiped her eyes. "Do you think he'd be proud of me? Oh, baby, he'd be so proud he'd burst. I can just see him up in heaven bragging to everyone about his little girl." Destiny laughed through her tears. "I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby, more than you'll ever know." The surgery lasted 6 hours. Destiny sat in the waiting room with Marcus and Noah. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She could barely breathe. Every minute felt like an eternity. Finally, the surgeon came out. Destiny jumped to her feet. "How is she?" The surgeon smiled. "She's going to be fine. The surgery was successful. We removed the blockage and repaired the damage. She'll need time to recover, but I expect a full recovery." Destiny's knees buckled. Marcus caught her. "She's okay," he said. "She's okay." Destiny was sobbing. "Thank you," she said to the surgeon. "Thank you so much. She's a fighter," the surgeon said. "Toughest patient I've had in years. That's my mama." 2 months later, the baby came. It happened fast. One moment Destiny was eating dinner. The next, she was doubled over in pain. "Marcus," she gasped. "It's time." "Now, but you're not due for another week. Tell that to the baby." They rushed to the hospital. Noah stayed with Rosa. Marcus held Destiny's hand through every contraction, every scream, every push. "You're doing amazing," he kept saying. "You're so strong. I'm so proud of you. Easy for you to say," Destiny gritted out. "You're not the one giving birth." "I know. I'm sorry. Just keep pushing." 8 hours later, at 3:47 in the morning, their daughter was born. She was perfect. Tiny fingers, tiny toes, a full head of dark curly hair, eyes that looked like Marcus, skin that looked like Destiny. She was everything. The nurse placed her in Destiny's arms. "Congratulations. She's beautiful." Destiny looked down at her daughter, at this miracle she had created, at this life she had brought into the world. "Hi, baby," she whispered. "I'm your mama." The baby opened her eyes and looked right at her. Destiny started crying. "She's perfect," Marcus said, tears streaming down his face. "Absolutely perfect. What are we going to name her?" They had talked about it for months, debated, discussed, never decided. But now, holding her daughter, Destiny knew. "Victoria," she said. Marcus's breath caught. "What I want to name her Victoria, after the woman who made all of this possible, the woman who gave Noah life, the woman who wrote that letter telling you to find love again." Marcus was crying harder now. "Are you sure I'm sure?" "She deserves to be remembered, and this way she'll always be part of our family." Marcus kissed her forehead. "Victoria Ruth Thompson," he said. "After both the women who made us who we are." Destiny smiled. Victoria Ruth. It was perfect. 2 days later, Noah met his sister for the first time. He walked into the hospital room slowly, his eyes wide, his mouth open. "Is that her?" "That's her," Destiny said. "Come meet your sister." Noah climbed onto the bed. He looked at the tiny bundle in Destiny's arms. "She's so small. She's brand new. What's her name? Victoria Ruth." Noah thought about that. Like Daddy's first wife. "Yes. We named her to honor her memory." Noah nodded seriously. "That's nice. I think she would have liked that." Destiny felt tears in her eyes. "I think so too." Noah reached out and touched Victoria's tiny hand. "Hi, Victoria. I'm Noah. I'm your big brother." The baby stirred. Her tiny fingers wrapped around Noah's. "She likes me." Noah's face lit up. "Look, she's holding my hand." "She loves you already," Marcus said. "I love her too. I'm going to protect her forever." Destiny looked at her family, her husband, her son, her daughter. She thought about everything that had led to this moment. The poverty, the struggle, the night she walked into the Thompson estate as a maid, the sound of a little boy crying in the dark, the moment she decided to break all the rules and go to him. If she hadn't done that, none of this would exist. None of this would be possible. Sometimes the biggest blessings come from the smallest choices. 5 years later. The Thompson estate was fuller than it had ever been. Noah was 9 now, tall and handsome, the spitting image of his father, but with Victoria's kind eyes. He was doing well in school, making friends, learning to play piano. Little Victoria was 5, a whirlwind of energy and mischief. She had Destiny's smile and Marcus's stubbornness. She ran everywhere, laughed at everything, and loved her big brother with a fierceness that made everyone smile. Ruth Williams lived in the guest cottage now. She was 73, slower than she used to be, but healthy, strong. Present for every birthday, every holiday, every ordinary Tuesday that turned into a memory. And Eleanor Bennett, she had changed. It hadn't happened overnight. There had been setbacks, arguments, moments when Destiny wondered if she had made a mistake letting her back into their lives. But slowly, year by year, Eleanor had proven herself. She came to birthday parties and behaved. She sent gifts that were thoughtful, not extravagant. She asked about Noah's school and actually listened to the answers. She apologized to Destiny at least once a year unprompted, like she was afraid she might forget how much she owed. She became a grandmother. Not the grandmother she had been controlling and cold. A real grandmother. One who read stories and baked cookies and got down on the floor to play even though her knees ached. One who loved. On a Sunday afternoon in spring, the whole family gathered in the garden for Noah's 9th birthday. Marcus manned the grill pretending to know what he was doing. Noah ran around with his friends playing games, being a kid. Little Victoria followed her grandmother Ruth around collecting flowers for a bouquet. Eleanor sat with Destiny on the porch watching it all. "I never thought I'd have this," Eleanor said quietly. "Have what this? Peace, family, a second chance?" Destiny looked at her. "People can change, Mrs. Bennett. You proved that. Only because you let me. You could have shut me out forever. You had every right. But then Noah wouldn't have known his grandmother, and Victoria wouldn't have an extra person to spoil her rotten." Eleanor laughed. It was a warm sound. Real. "Thank you, Destiny. For everything. For forgiving me. For teaching me. For showing me what it means to truly love a family." Destiny smiled. "Thank you for fighting for it. That's all I ever asked." They sat together watching the party unfold. 2 women who had started as enemies. Now something like friends. Marcus walked over holding a plate of burned hamburgers. "Anyone hungry?" Destiny laughed. "I think we'll order pizza. That's probably wise." He sat down beside her. He took her hand. "Happy?" he asked. "Beyond happy." "Good. Because I have one more surprise." "What?" Marcus pulled an envelope from his pocket. "The board approved it today. I'm stepping back from the company. Reduced hours. More time at home." Destiny stared at him. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. I missed too much of Noah's early years. I'm not making that mistake with Victoria, and I want to be here for you. Really here. Marcus, I've spent my whole life building things. Companies, wealth, empires. But none of it matters as much as this. You, the kids, this family. This is what I want to build now." Destiny kissed him. "I love you. I love you too. Always have. Always will." That night after the party was over and the kids were asleep, Destiny stood in Noah's room. He was 9 years old now, but she still came to check on him every night. Old habits. She looked down at this boy who had changed her life. This boy who had cried in the dark and reached for her. This boy who had called her Grace and made her feel like someone worth loving. "Good night, sweet boy," she whispered. She kissed his forehead. Noah stirred. "Mom." "Yeah, baby. Thank you. For what? For coming back. That night when Dad fired you. You could have stayed away, but you came back." Destiny felt tears prick her eyes. "I couldn't stay away, baby. I loved you too much." "I know," Noah smiled sleepily. "That's why you're the best mom ever." He rolled over and fell back asleep. Destiny stood there, sir, for a long moment, tears streaming down her face. Not sad tears, happy tears, the happiest tears in the world. She walked out of his room and found Marcus waiting in the hallway. "Everything okay?" "Everything is perfect." He wrapped his arms around her. They stood there together. Husband and wife. Partners. Best friends. Family. She thought about everything that had led them here. Every struggle, every tear, every moment of doubt. It had all been worth it. Every single second. Because in the end, love wins. Not the kind of love you find in fairy tales. The real kind. The kind that shows up when things are hard. The kind that fights when everything seems lost. The kind that chooses to stay even when walking away would be easier. Destiny Williams had started her life with nothing. A tiny apartment, a sick mother, $47 on a kitchen table. Now she had everything. Not because of money, not because of a mansion, but because she had learned the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply choosing to love when the world tells you not to. And sometimes when you do that, miracles happen. Real family isn't defined by blood or titles. It's defined by who shows up when things are hard. Who stays when others leave. Who loves when it's difficult. Destiny Williams. Thompson showed them all about what that really meant. And she would keep showing them every single day for the rest of her life. Because that's what love does. It shows up. It stays. It never gives up. And in the end, that's the only thing that matters.